Hello, everyone. I'm Jim Longworth. Welcome to another edition of Triad Today, coming to you once again from the Senior Botanical Garden in Kernersville. Coming up later in the show, toward the end, our roundtable. We'll get into all sorts of controversies, so we hope you'll stay tuned for that and the entire show because we have some great guests coming up. Where I want to start, though, is wintertime safety, which is kind of appropriate. We do it with two great friends of the show you see a lot here, David Daggett and Griff Schuler. Griff is right to my right, David to the back. Partners in Daggett Schuler, attorneys at law. Welcome, guys. Good to see you.
Thanks for having us.
I'm not going to ask each person just to jump in. You guys just answer whatever you want because we sort of did this at the last minute. We thought and it was actually their idea because of you need to stay safe during the winter and whether you're driving or walking along the sidewalk. So let's just get at it. Since we're going to have winter with us for a while, what tips do you guys have for staying safe if you have to drive?
Well, the number one thing is stay home if you don't have to go out. But if you go out, I think one of the key things is drive slow, give yourself more time. Big thing is keep a safe distance between you and the car in front of you. What David and I see a lot in our job at the firm is folks that get into car accidents on ice and snow because they're following too closely behind other people.
So they bang and have fender benders or they've slid into somebody.
Yeah, the thing I would say is number one, and I'm repeating Griff, is slow down. Ice can sneak up on you. We've seen that the past week. You come up the road's pretty clear. You get to the intersection, you put on your brakes and you slide.
Too late, now you're sliding.
Slow down. Number two is be visible. And that has multiple things, but if your taillights are covered with snow, you're a danger.
I didn't think about that.
Get the snow off there. And then an added thing that most people don't think about, and I saw it on the way driving over here, is get the snow off your car. The wind gets under a great big sheet, it goes flying, and it either obstructs somebody's visibility or it causes some damage.
That's, good advice. I didn't think about that. Now, let me break this question up into two very quickly. One, what happens if I do have a fender bender? What's the process? And two, what happens if it's a little bit more than a fender bender and I think I'm injured? What's the process either way?
Well, one practical thing on the fender bender, number one, get as far off the road as possible, Jim, because what happens a lot of times is you have a fender bender, you're right there in the road or you're right next to the road, you get out of your car and then somebody else slides in the ice and slides into you.
Right.
We unfortunately have had cases where people have been killed contacting us where they had an accident was on the side of the road, so get as far off the road as possible.
Okay.
Yeah, and these things can get very complicated very quickly. Don't just think they're going to be simple and get handled. Contact somebody for some expert guidance and advice in getting yourself through the claims process.
And obviously, Jim, seek medical attention right away if you've been injured.
Right.
That's
and a lot of times
one.
people say, Griff, well, I feel fine. And then it's like 2 days later, they discover they've pulled something or broken something that they didn't know, because I guess maybe sometimes you get in shock when you're in an accident at first, you don't realize it.
Well, it's adrenaline. You get adrenaline and adrenaline mass, whatever the issue is. Sometimes it can be pretty serious, a herniated disc.
And I think people right now are concerned because they're like, well, I can't go to the emergency room because all the emergency rooms are filled up with people with COVID.
Right.
Well, you've got other options. You can try to contact your primary care physician, the urgent care facilities, but try to seek help somewhere.
All right, before time gets away from us, walking on sidewalks can be dangerous. You guys sent me an email about that. What kind of precautions? I mean, you have to walk.
Right, well, again, go very, very slowly. Don't wear, leather-soled street shoes like I am right now when I got out of the car here.
Right.
But go very, very slowly. Be very, very careful, particularly with age. I was telling Griff that at my age, I got to be very, very careful and watch my step.
Watch where you step.
We gotta slow down and be careful and take care of
And
ourselves.
not to do a commercial, but very quickly, you guys can help file paperwork and stuff if various injuries are involved, whether it's a slip and fall.
In the winter, one of the big things we see is people that slip on sidewalks while at work.
While at work.
They're on the sidewalk at their work. Obviously, that's something, contacting an attorney right away. figuring out how to go ahead and give your proper notice to your employer.
It's a workers' compensation claim.
Exactly.
All right. Okay, up on screen, daggettschulerlaw.com. Please check that out for more information, or you can call them at 724-1234. And you going to stay over for the roundtable?
Sure. Slow down, be visible, and be safe.
Be safe. All right. We'll be right back. Be right back out. Now on Triad Today, I'm so glad to have this gentleman here with us. He stays busy, and it's hard to get him. In fact, I looked at my calendar. It's been 1 year almost today since we saw him last. Welcome back, Chris Lumsden, President and CEO of Northern Regional Hospital. Good to see you.
Good to be back. Thanks.
And appreciate you making the trip down here to the garden, and glad to have you. Now, I know you don't like to brag about yourself, so I'm going to do it. The Triad Business Journal, very respected publication, has named Northern Regional one of the best places to work in the Triad. And they also mentioned in the same breath that you're one of the top CEOs, that I'm sitting across from right now. Now, here's the question. What sets Northern Regional Hospital apart from others in such a way as to bring about that kind of recognition?
Well, first, the award was very, very nice, but being nominated by my team was a real honor. So thank you. Our operating philosophy is pretty simple. We focus on keeping a safe environment for our patients, making the patient experience as good as possible, managing our finances fairly prudently, focusing and investing, honoring our employees, and we also have a fairly robust growth strategy as well. So that's been our operating philosophy thus far in the last 3.5 years, and it's worked out pretty well.
And for folks at home who just moved into the area don't know, of course, Northern Regional Hospital located in Mount Airy, and just a short drive from the Triad. And let me just mention some things. I got an email, I think it was from Riley Haynes the other day, and we were talking about things that we might wanted to mention. And I'm going to throw out a phrase or something and then get you to react to it, because you've always talked about investing in the employees. Tell me how you help with education and tuition. What is that all about?
Well, when I arrived at Northern 3.5 years ago, I said my focus was going to be on two things, and it has been. And one, focus on investing in our people, and second, investing in the hospital and the growth of the hospital. So in order to grow, you really have to, as an organization, you have to first focus on investing and growing your people. So early on, we developed and established a number of different education assistance, tuition, reimbursement, scholarship programs aimed at helping our employees and people from the community and region go back to school in hopes that they'll return to Northern.
Now, you also set up something that Riley referred to as a pipeline that you've set up for students. Now, I don't know if that means high school students or college students or both. Tell me about that, a pipeline for students who might be interested in a career.
That's correct. And that pipeline is still being developed. I'm very proud of the relationship that we have created with our public school systems, the community college, and colleges in the region. A number of programs have been established. We've greatly enhanced our employee education assistance program, whereas in 2018, I hate to say it, but we invested $10,000 in our employees in education. And this past year, we invested over $275,000 in our employees alone. We've established scholarships in our community to allow, again, not only employees, but people from the community to go back and pursue a career in healthcare.
Young people that might end up working for you.
Absolutely. And it starts K through 12. So not only are we focusing on young people, but we're also focusing on some of our older employees as well that want to improve themselves.
Before we run out of time, any big projects coming up you want to mention?
Well, the big one we unveiled here recently is the master campus plan. And so we're investing in our campus, adding new parking, making it more accessible, easier for our patients and visitors and guests to get into the hospital and out of the hospital. And we're also adding a 25,000 square foot medical office building on campus as well. So that'll be a nice project that we'll finish over the next 14 to 16 months. 14, 16
months. All right. Well, that's great. I mean, a lot of great news. And I hope you won't wait another year to come back. Up on screen, choosenorthern.org is the website for general information, tell you all about the hospital. Please check that out, folks. Chris, don't be a stranger.
It's always a pleasure. Thanks, Jim.
Thanks. We'll be right back after this. Back now on Triad Today, and I don't have to tell you folks at home that there's a shortage of a lot of folks in the emergency medical services arena, and so it's critical to get more folks into those jobs, and that means they got to be trained. And that brings me to this man who's an expert in EMS training. Alex Delapenna, he's Director of Emergency Medical Services at Alamance Community College. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Remind us very quickly what Alamance Community College EMS program offers, just basically.
Absolutely. So we offer a wide range of educational programs and professional training for Alamance County's emergency medical personnel as well as lay people. So that includes EMT, CPR, for lay people, as well as paramedic courses, and a whole slew of everything in between.
Now, that's the general program, and that's the way I ask it, but let me hone in on something. Didn't you send me an email one day that said you've added a new program or something? What is that about?
I did. So most recently, we were approved to begin offering an associate's degree in emergency medical science. So it will take the individual with no experience and provide them opportunity to obtain their EMT, their paramedic, other professional credentials, as well as their associate's degree in emergency medical science, which provides a really strong foundation in math, English, the life and social sciences.
Now, curriculum is important, of course, but so are facilities. So let me ask you about that. Don't you have some new facilities for EMS training?
We do. And excitingly, we just moved in a couple months ago, so we are kind of in full force and really using the space that has been redone. So as part of a larger campus renovation project, we converted general classroom into high fidelity, specific to EMS and healthcare education space. The labs provide an immersive environment for students to practice their skills in areas and environments that are typical workspaces for EMS and other healthcare workers.
Well, yeah, why is it important to have that kind of real world setting for your EMS training?
Absolutely. So the more immersive the environment, the more realistic, the more impactful the learning experience is. So we've taken general classroom and created a fully functional emergency room. We've taken the general classroom and created a one-bedroom apartment as well as a ambulance that has lights, sirens, and it creates that work environment that our students and graduates are going into.
We didn't rehearse this, but I'm just curious, from start to finish, if I want to sign up for one of these programs and become an EMT or paramedic, somebody in that field, how long does it take? I mean, how long does it take the courses? When would I be ready to maybe go to work?
Absolutely. So EMT could be done in as few as 3 months or one semester. To go from no experience whatsoever to paramedic, you're looking about 5 to 6 semesters.
Okay. And now, you said something to me one day about that the college is providing services to community partners. You used the word partners. What do you mean?
Yep. So we have partnered with all of our emergency medical personnel. So that's fire departments, EMS agencies, and we provide their ongoing training. So they will also be able to come in, use the space, and really hone their skills in a safe environment. Specifically those clinical skills that are high risk, low frequency. So it gives them that safe environment to make mistakes. And with the video technology that we now have game film to go back, review the mistakes, and kind of work towards perfection.
Can you sign up at any point during the year, or just certain times you can sign up?
So we have rolling enrollment, and it typically follows the typical college semester, so spring semester, summer, and fall.
All right. Up on screen, alamancecc.edu, alamancecc.edu. Please check that out. As I mentioned at the top of the segment, shortage of folks in this field. So we need you, and you need training, and this man can give it to you. Thanks for all you do.
Excellent. Thank you for having me.
We'll be right back after this. Back now on Triad Today. I'm so excited to have these two guests with us. Now, one is a familiar face to you. He's been on the show before, but he brought a special guest with him, too. You recognize in the center chair back there, of course, Atticus Simpson is Director of Government and Community Affairs for Triad Federal Credit Union. And we're talking about the foundation today as well, Triad Foundation. But Atticus brought a special guest, Reverend Randy Francis, founder and Executive Director of Nehemiah Community Empowerment Center. And we welcome both of you. Good to see you.
Thank you so much. And Pastor's fine.
All right, Pastor's fine. And I might just elevate you to anything. I might give you his title before the thing's over.
Sure, why not?
Atticus, let me start with you. Now, Truliant launched its foundation this winter. Tell me about it and its mission.
Sure, I'd be glad to. Thanks for asking. We started the foundation back before the holidays, and the purpose there is to support Truliant Federal Credit Union's commitment to the community and our social responsibility to give back to the neighbors that we serve. And so all of our charitable giving now will fall under the umbrella of the foundation. That includes our mini grants, our financial education grants that we've talked about before, our general charitable giving. We also have an employee relief fund that we've started now to help our employees who are facing financial hardships due to conditions that they just didn't have any control over. That's
Because of the pandemic.
Because of the pandemic and just crisis that they may have, natural disaster, just emergencies at home. And that's something that we felt like we could do internally because the health of our employees is important to their ability to serve our members.
Now, I know this past week when folks were celebrating Martin Luther King Day and really throughout the week with various ceremonies and whatever, you guys at Truliant Foundation sort of focused on service as a sort of a key point. Why service?
Yep, that's right. Well, service is one of our core values, and so we obviously believe in that, but we also believe in the spirit that Dr. King left behind him when he passed on. And so one of the things that we wanted to do was to identify some groups in our market area that were really doing things that we thought were in the spirit of Dr. King, but also consistent with the mission of Truliant Foundation. And so we identified groups in each market. We were able to identify Pastor Francis and the good work that she's doing at the Nehemiah Community Empowerment Center, and we're glad to honor her this week and the work that she's doing for the community.
Can I call you Randy?
Yes.
All right. You can just call me sir. That'll be fun. No, I'm teasing with you. Randy, no, very quickly, before we lose time on this, just give me a thumbnail sketch of what the center is all about. What's your mission?
Our mission is to empower and enrich the lives of underserved communities, especially those that are unaware of the career opportunities that are available in the STEM, robotics, and IT fields.
And education seems to be such an important foundation to everything nowadays. I know you two have talked about it, but I saw a note that you sent me on an email about, pardon the expression, a connection to Reading Connections. What's the Reading Connections thing all about? Why are you involved?
The main reason is that we do not want to set up people for failure. So in order for them to achieve the IT certifications that we provide, we want to make sure that they have the academic proficiency to be able to attain that certification. So what Reading Connections allows us to do is to kind of assess where the reading of that individual is, whether it's an adult or a teenager. You would be surprised of how many people graduate without a 10th or 12th grade reading level. And in order to pass these certifications, the ITF certification that we provide, you need to have at least a 10th grade reading level. And then the main thing, when some of the students did finish our training and went to apply for jobs, they could not get the job because they failed the math test. So Reading Connections also now provide a math assessment so they can have at least a 9th grade math level.
I think that's great. Now, very quickly, tell me about this teen apprenticeship program, the state funded. What is that?
Oh, yes, I am so excited. Again, one of the main things we want to do is to create career awareness in underserved communities. So we started a teen apprenticeship program with the Governor's Crime Commission. Matter of fact, I just signed the pre-assessment contract this morning. And what it'll do is have the opportunity for the youth and teens to explore the different careers in the IT field. And then during the summer months, we want to be able to hire them. So it's summer employment for them. They will get paid through our partnership with Guilford Works and NC Works. And it's a win-win situation for all of that. We're able to expose, increase the awareness, get the teenagers paid, and then hopefully have them pursue either a college degree or a certification.
I think
in
that's
IT.
great. I want to give you a plug up on the screen. Nehemiah CEC, Nehemiah CEC -GSO for Greensboro.org, and TruliantFCU.org is that. In just a few seconds, how can community help support the foundation?
Well, community can support the foundation by helping us to help groups like the Nehemiah Center. I mean, we're so proud of what they are doing and proud of our partnership. And if you'd like to be a part of that, you can give to the foundation. And all you do is go to the TruliantFCU.org/foundation. There's a really easy way to give, and you can help us help great people like Ms. Francis to do what they're doing.
You continue the good work. Thanks for everything.
Yes.
We'll be right back after this. Back now on Triad Today, just about time for the roundtable. One more quick shout out to the good folks here at Senior Botanical Garden in Kernersville. Check out the website. Beautiful garden year round, even when there's snow around. Now, three guys that snow me all the time On my right, but always political left, Ogie Overman, the great broadcaster, journalist, socially distanced behind us. David Daggett was held over from a previous segment, and he, of course, was Daggett, Schuler, and Keith Granberry's founder of Helping Hands Consultants. Guys, late last week, Guilford County Commissioners voted to enact a mask mandate for all indoor public places. Now, businesses who don't comply will be fined. Will this significantly halt the spread or help decrease the spread of COVID?
Well, I'm glad they did it. I think it's past due. I don't know how significant it will be, but it will help. Incrementally, it will help, sure.
David?
I think that each little piece of being sensible, reasonable, and responsible adds up to a little bit more safety.
It's never just one thing.
It's not one thing. It's all the little things.
Keith, is it going to help?
It's going to help, but it's going to take people who are unvaccinated to get vaccinated, and everyone should be being wearing masks when they're out in public view. Everyone should be wearing a mask.
I agree. Up until recently, sexual abuse litigation has mainly been aimed at the National Boy Scout organization, but now 21 former Boy Scouts are suing the local Old Hickory Council for abuse that continued up until 2010. Lawsuits have bankrupted the national office, which we've talked about before, so the question now is, could this be the beginning of the end for local Boy Scout groups? Ogie?
Well, I worry about it, Jim. I was a scout, and I've been a scout supporter my whole life, and I don't know what's going to happen.
Because now it's touching us locally.
Sounds bad, yeah.
David?
I actually think the legal situation will work itself out. National will be involved. There's been a bankruptcy, a reorganization, that sort of thing. What I'm more worried about with the Boy Scouts is, like lots of other organizations, they now have political infighting on issues, and that's destructive to them. And I wish Boy Scouts could be Boy Scouts like we were, Ogie.
Keith, what do you think's going to happen?
I think the Boy Scouts is going to go out of business. Who wants to bring their child into something where you have all of these allegations? It's very tough for parents to bring a kid into an organization, even though it's done a lot of good, where there's been a lot of bad done, especially young
allegations
boys.
Not only where things happen, but allegations where things weren't talked about.
Absolutely.
As COVID depletes the ranks of the military, guys, the Army is now offering a bonus of $50,000 for every new recruit who signs up for a 6-year stint. Now, it sounds pretty good, but the question is that a good use of taxpayer money? Ogie?
I think it is. I think it gets a higher quality of soldier as well, sure.
David Daggett?
Yeah, I think over a 6-year period of time, and I'm not sure on the specifics on what you have to commit to and when it gets paid out, but I don't think it's a bad idea.
$50,000 bonus to sign up for the Army. Keith?
I think not only should have bonus, but increase in pay. Teachers and soldiers, people who are on the front line for society, should be paid more money.
All right, a Pilot Mountain woman has been sentenced to 3 months in prison for taking her 14-year-old son up to the Capitol insurrection last year. You okay with that punishment, Ogie?
How long? 3 months?
3 months in prison.
No. 3 years, 30 years maybe. Yeah, that's insane, Jim.
I mean, she shouldn't have gone, but 3 months for taking her kid.
That compounds the felony that it already is. 30 years.
David?
My opinion is it's probably appropriate and makes a statement. I think that this insurrection, everybody's trying to label it different things. The physically breaking into the Capitol and threatening people, regardless, protests are fine. That's different, and there's got to be a punishment for it.
Keith, what do you think?
Well, I mean, the insurrection was an assault on democracy, period. That's what it was. And any other word for it is wrong. I think that if the parent took the kid into the Capitol, then she deserves a lot of times. But if she took the kid up there for protest and to be outside, that's
different.
That's
Agreed.
different.
Agreed, 100%.
The latest edition of Microsoft Word will now correct words that might be offensive or insensitive. So, guys, if you type in the word, seriously, if you type in the word mankind, you're doing a document, it will suggest that you say humankind. Guys, you okay with Microsoft shaming us into being politically correct, Ogie?
Not exactly. I mean, I've been an editor. I don't say that arrogantly, but I mean, I kind of edit myself, and I take offense at a machine editing me.
Well, my office gets on me all the time. I have so many typos, I'm not sure they would ever even notice the difference coming out of me.
You want to be made to be politically correct, Keith?
I should, because sometimes I run into jerks, and I need another name for that. You know what I mean? There has to
Microsoft.
be
I don't think Microsoft's going to help you on that.
No, Microsoft might not help me on that.
Finally, Keith wants Microsoft just to follow him around with a little app.
They will be at some point.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah.
Finally, a professor in Japan has developed a TV screen that you can lick if you get hungry. It contains 7 different flavors, including pizza flavor. That means you can watch your favorite TV show. You get a little hungry, you say, I'm going to lick the TV. I feel like a pizza. Guys, would you buy a TV that you can lick, Ogie?
I can't answer that, Jim. I just don't have an answer at all. Okay, no.
No.
David.
No, I'll call fast food. I'm not licking a TV.
Keith, would you lick a TV? Would you buy a TV you could lick?
This is a trick question, man. The answer is absolutely not.
Okay, I just want to see. All right, fortunately, that's all the time we have. Oh, except for this. A team of scientists in Hungary have discovered that dogs can recognize many different languages, and they can recognize if somebody is talking nonsense, which may explain why dogs are not allowed to interview congressmen. For all of us here, Try It Today. I'm Jim Longworth. We'll see you next week.